to another video. Today I'll be showing you how to make the Blair plant hanger. This is a plant hanger that holds 3 pots in it. This is something I saw on Pinterest and absolutely loved, and I just changed it up with adding a different colour, but you can do it all natural. It's up to you. Last time I used a colour called eucalyptus. This is Laurel, and these are cottons from Hello Bobini. They're 5mm, just to give it a bit of a chunkier look. So I've already gone ahead and attached them. I've just got 2 more to go. So we're just doing a simple lark's head knot. Hopefully you guys can see that. And the last one. Okay, so to begin with, we're going to start off by doing half hitch knots. So separate them into 4. You're going to start with the outer cord as your lead, so that's the one closest to the end of the stick. So we're going to start with our half hitch knots. So to do those, there's plenty of other tutorials out there, and I might do one at a later date. But you've got your lead cord, using the cord next to it, you're going to go behind. You're going to then flick it over. So hold your lead cord, flick it over, and then through this loop that you've made, you're going to pull it through. Pull it right through, and you're going to have something that looks like this. And you're just going to pull the other cord tight till it sits right up near your lark's head knot. And you're going to do that twice. So it's over and through. Okay, so we're working on a bit of an angle. So you want to make sure you're keeping that cord on an angle. So you're going to now go to your next rope that's next to it. And so you're going to do that for all of these bits of rope. You're going to go 2 each. So you're going to end up with it going down like this with half hitch knots on it. So let's go ahead and do that. You want to make sure that when you're pulling 2, you're not pulling too loose or too tight, because then these knots can become uneven and can look bigger and smaller in places. So you've just got to try and be consistent with pulling on those. Okay, so there we have it. Here's our first row. And we're going to do this again another 2 times along here. So let's go ahead and do that. So again, we're starting with the outer cord, so the cord closest to the end of your stick. Going to go as close as possible to the top one. So using the cord next to it, we're going to do more half hitch knots, making them nice and tight so it joins up to that top row. You don't want any spaces there. And again, it's 2 on the 1 cord. That's like a general rule whenever you're doing half hitch knots. Okay, and last row, again, outer cord, and let's do that all again. And the final one. Okay, so there we have it, the start. So now what we're going to do is imitate exactly the same, but on the right hand side. So again, starting with our outer cord, the one's closest to the other colour, we're going to do the exact same thing. So I'll just go ahead and do that. Okay, so that's that. Now it's nice and even. Something I forgot to mention too is with your lead rope, when tying the half hitch knots, always hold it in the direction that you're planning on working. Otherwise you can tend to maybe go, you know, it's not going to meet up and match. So yeah, always hold it in the direction that you're wanting to work so you get that nice even look. Okay, so now that that's done, I'm going to look at my next step. Okay, so after that, we're going to now do a berry knot. These are really cool knots. I really like them. Very, very easy to do. So what we're going to do is you're going to make a square knot. So what we're going to do is take the 4 middle ropes. So you're going to have it from these two, the 2 in the middle, and the ones next to them, okay? So to do a berry knot, we're going to do 3 square knots. So to do a square knot, very simple. Use your left rope, make like the number 4 across. With the other rope, you're going to go over that 4, okay? So over, you're going to flick that rope under and through that loop in the 4, okay? So you got your 4, holding it out here, I find that a lot easier. With that right bit of rope, going to go over the 4, go under it, and through this loop that you've made, pull through. So you'll have that, okay? Now we're gonna go up. So we wanna leave, because with berry knots, you've got to like turn them over and do things. We're going to leave a little bit of room up the top here. Okay, so to finish the first square knot, you're going to do exactly the same thing, but on the opposite side. So we're going to make a 4 now with the right rope. So do your 4, okay? Then with your left, you're going to go over it, around, and through the loop. And then you're going to make sure you just hold the center ropes when you're pulling this up, otherwise it can get all tangled and messy. Okay, so there's our first square knot. So we're going to do 2 more of these, all right? So left rope over, around, through. Pull that one up nice and close. It's nice to do these tight. And then again, on the right hand side, do your 4, over, around, and through. And 1 more. Okay, do the number 4, over it, around, and through. Hope you guys can see that. Okay, so now we've got our 3 square knots. Now, the 2 center ones coming out of it, what we're going to do, separate it. We're going to get the right rope from it. So this one here, we're going to thread it through this top bit here. So put it through and pull through. Okay, so we'll just leave him there for a minute, and we're going to do the same to the left. Put it through and pull through. Okay, now those ropes that we've just looped through, we're going to sort of, you know, bend this up like a knot, like a berry. Keep pulling through on those ones we've put up the top. Pull down, push hard, make your little round ball there. So that's the berry knot. Okay, so now with the 4 bits of rope that we have just used, okay, so here we go, 4 bits of rope, don't worry about those ones. We're going to do another square knot, and that's just going to secure that berry knot in place. All right, so holding your center ropes, we're going to, I always start with the left. I mean, you can start with the right, but I just always start with the left one. So again, make the number 4, I'm gonna go over, around, and through. Okay, pull that up nice and tight. Make sure it's like right underneath it. Bring those down a little bit. Okay, so, and push him up so he's nice at the base of your half hitch knots, okay? So that was the first step of the square knot, and now we do the same on the other side. So again, the 4, over, around, and through, and pull up nice and tight. Okay, and then you have your berry knot in there. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to do the exact same as we did here, but in reverse. So we're going to grab those 2 center ropes coming from our berry knot. Okay, so we're going to split those. It'll be 1 on each side. So to begin with, we're going to start with the left. So again, holding it out in the way we want to go, which is diagonal. We're going to start with the rope that is the closest to it, and we're going to start those half hitch knots again. So let's go ahead and do that. Remembering it's 2 per rope. So that was 1. So we're going to go over like this, and around and through, and pull. Okay, again, the next rope, over, around, and through. So you're hooking it on that lead rope. And it's like okay. So be sure when you're starting the second line, you don't grab the other center rope coming from your berry knot, because that needs to go for that side. So something you can do is, yeah, just tie it up maybe. And sometimes I flick it over my piece of wood, so I know not to touch that piece or anything to the right of that piece. So we're just working with these cords here. So we're going to grab again the cord closest to this rope, right, and go again. Okay, so once we have all those tied, what we're going to do now with this rope, we're going to tidy up this end here. So we're just simply going to, from that second line, again, hook this through so it ends in a nice tidy finish. 1 and 2. Okay, so no more loose ropes there. All right, so again, rope closest to this color, and we're going to go do it again. It's very simple, just repetitive, but it's a fairly easy pattern for beginners. And okay, there we have it. That side's done. Okay, now again, time to do it on this side. Okay, so I will go ahead with that. So that's all entwined, and continue on with your pattern. Okay, so that intricate work is all finished. Not that it was that intricate. So now we move on to making knots so it can hold our pot. So depending on what pot you want to use, have it ready. I have my fake pots up here, although to be honest, this one is real. It's kind of alive. All right, oops. So I'm going to use this one here, my real one. Okay, so to begin with though, we're going to create a square knot. This is going to sort of support it at the back. All right, so let's then figure out where the center is. So you can just, you know, gradually take in from the sides, and until you're left with 4 in the center. That way you know you've got even on both sides. So these center 4, grab hold of those. This is going to be our square knot. So again, with square knots, you make the number 4 over, around and through. Okay, now we pull that. We don't want to make it too close up because our pot's probably going to sit, you know, a few centimeters from the top so we can see the pattern a bit. So I just sort of guesstimate. I just sort of guess. So we'll finish that off, but then with the right side, do the 4 over, around, and through, and pull that down nice and tight. Okay, there we go. There's your square knot. Next step. So going off our square knot, okay, gonna do a few more. So the whole pattern to hold our pot is just going to be made up of square knots, and then we're going to tie it all up at the bottom. All right, so with our square knot, the 2 ropes that are coming from the left here, grab a hold of. Don't worry about those ones yet. And then the 2 pieces of rope that are the closest, grab hold of those. This is going to now form our next square knot. Let's do that. So, okay, you got your 4. The 2 center ones again is what we work off. So the left one again, make your 4 over, around and through. So we're not going to join it. I mean, you could keep going right up until it sits right underneath it, but we're not going to do that. We're going to leave a little bit of space. So maybe about a centimeter or 2. Okay, then finish off that square knot. Pull down tight on those center ropes. Okay. All right, there we go. Now we're going to mirror it on the right hand side. So again, grab those 2 bits of rope on the right from the first square knot, 2 closest to it. Okay, using those as your center, make another square knot. Okay, and you want to basically make sure that these 2 knots we're about, like the second knot I'm about to make, is even with this knot here. So you can get a tape measure and measure it properly. I don't do that. I probably should. The amount of times I've had to undo my work because it wasn't matching up, but I'm a bit lazy, so I'm just gonna go off look. So that's a little bit high. You can just sort of pull down on it. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that. I mean, again, it doesn't have to be perfect because your pot's going to be sitting there anyway, so you're not really going to see that work at the back there. But I don't know, if you're a bit, you know, particular like me, I do like them to still look fairly even anyway. Okay, so we've done 3 square knots. Now we're going to then do some more, not too many more, but again, working off this again. Okay, so your square knot on the left here, okay, grab your 2 on the left, and again, the 2 closest to it, okay. Got your center cords here, make another square knot. Okay, finish that square knot off. Your rope is starting to get a lot shorter now, but that's okay. we should have plenty to finish off this pattern. Okay, so we've done one here. So we're going to do the same on this side. So the right knot again, the ones on the right hand side and the two closest, do another square knot, making sure to match it up, mirror it. And trying to pull that tight. Okay, so you should have now 5 square knots. Okay, we're going to make another one. So you can pull that apart like that, and you can see those 2 lead ropes all here in the center. We're going to use these 4 bits of rope for another square knot. So grab hold of those. Okay. Then again, you know what to do. The number 4, over, around, and through the hole. Okay. So you can kind of roughly match it up with the bottom 2 here. Again, doesn't have to be perfect. And pull that tight. Okay. There we go. So that's basically the back support of it done. So that will support that from the back. So you should be left with this. Okay, now we're going to grab the 2 lead ropes that are on the outer on both sides. Okay, we're going to do a little bit of a twist, nothing too fancy. So you grab them, and the 2 bits of rope that are currently on the outer are going to be turned inward. So grab your rope and turn them in just like that. So those 2 bits of rope here, they were on the outer, but now they're in the center. So not too hard. Okay, so we're going to do a square knot. So let's do that. Okay. And finish that off. Pulling it nice and tight. Okay, there we go. So I like to get the pot I'm using and put it inside there. Okay, this will give you a rough idea as to like where it's going to sit. So I can see here that bit of rope, this square knot needs to come down a little bit lower. Otherwise, if I don't lower my square knot, it's going to sit right up high, blocking that pattern. So I'm going to do that. So it's a bit of trial and error when you get to this point. I mean, this is how I've always done it. I'm sure there's probably easier ways. Okay, so just lowering that square knot. Oh, sorry, I should have showed you that. So I'll make that again. So to just undo your square knot and, you know, make it higher or lower, all you have to do is this bit of rope down the bottom here. Hope you can see that. So this one here, you just grab it and pull it out. So just pull it all out like that. Okay, and then you can make that higher or you can make it lower. So I'm going to try doing a little bit lower. All right, and then you just, because you've still left the top in there, you're just going to finish it off with the opposite way you went first up. And pull that tight. Okay, so let's have another go at this. All right. So I don't mind that there. Okay, because we're going to still have to do another few square knots. So it could even be too low now, but I'm going to go ahead and trial it with how it is. Okay, so once you're happy with that front knot, you can now go ahead and make some more. So to do that, we're going to now, so this is the front, this is the back. We're going to join the two up, okay? So with your front knot here, okay, separate those cords. So I'm just going to start with the left ones, grab that, and then you can see behind here, this square knot here, and it has 4 bits of rope coming out of it, like you can see. I'm going to grab the closest to the end of the wooden stick, okay? So that would be those two on the left there. So what I now do is, like we did with these, we're going to just turn it inward. So just like that and turn in, okay? And then do our square knot. Okay, there we go. And again, same on the other side. So grab the other two, these two, turn them in, like so, in, and do another square knot, making sure to, to match the square knot here at the front. Okay, just like that. Okay, so you can see it forming. It's got a little, sorry, my hand's probably in the way. Don't know how to show that, but it's all joined up now. So these 3, 1, 2, 3, you're going to grab, so from these two, you're going to grab 2 ropes from each side, the 2 closest to the center, okay? And you're going to do one final square knot with it. So when we do this square knot, we're going to go right up to the top, make sure it's basically sitting directly underneath those 2 knots, all right? Okay, just like that. So that's what it'll look like. Got 1, 2, 3 knots there. So now let's put our pot in there. So pop that on in, wiggle him around a little bit. I love this rope, it's nice and stretchy as well. Okay, getting there. Okay, so that's really holding it quite nicely. So we can now do the final step. I'm quite happy with where it's sitting also. So to do the final step, you're going to want to grab all these loose hanging bits of rope, okay? And you're going to bunch them all up together. You're going to want to have a piece of cord ready. Just make sure it's long enough to tie up the ends. So I've bunched that underneath my pot there. If you're a bit confused with how I'm doing this, there are a bunch of tutorials out there on how to do it. Our first pot hanger completed. Okay guys, so when we were making this one, I said to use this cord, this one on the left here, to wrap around. So, you know, it was all wrapped around like this. While we do this, do that in this pattern, it wasn't meant to happen until we got to this point. So after you've done your berry knot and you've worked your lead cord down, that is when you want to wrap this cord around the natural piece of rope. So what we're going to do is we're going to do that. So let's just wrap it around. 1, 2. Wrap it around 2 times. Okay, maybe 3. Let's see what 3 looks like. it 3 times. Okay, and then continue on with your half hitch knot, and that way that's going to secure it in place. So pulling 1 and 2. So just like that. I'm going to keep going, guys, and show you the end result at the end of this video.